And this will go over a lot of the myths that we hear, a lot of the questions that we hear about how paid search works and how a dealership can maximize their use of it. First, we're going to go through some definitions. So you understand, as we talk about how paid search works, you understand some of the terminology. The first thing we're going to go through is keyword, and that's simply the keyword that you're targeting. When somebody types a particular keyword or set of keywords into a search engine, and we use those keywords in paid search, that's what we are defined by a keyword target. Our max CPC is the maximum cost per click we're willing to pay, and we could bid anywhere from 10 cents to $10. And what happens is that maximum cost per click, A, defines how high on the page we're ranked, and B, defines how much we pay when someone does click on our ad. The next word we'll need to define for you guys is clicks, and that's the number of times that your ad was clicked on during your campaign's run. Impressions is the number of times your ad was delivered in a search, so it's the number of times it's seen. And the third item here, or the fifth item is click-through ratio. This is the number of times your ad was clicked divided by the number of times it was shown. And so with our click-through ratio, this shows us exactly how relevant our keywords are to a search. It's a very important element to determining how much we pay and the quality of our ads. Conversion. A conversion is a visitor performing a predetermined action on our site. Most commonly, this is referred to when someone sends an email or some other lead through the site. But as we get into the presentation later on, we'll see that a conversion really can be any action that a customer performs, from looking at detail on a new car or detail on a used car to viewing our map and directions page, which clearly indicates the consumer is ready to come to our site. The next item you'll see, and this is probably a little bit deeper down in our statistics, is what's called a view-through conversion. A view-through conversion is when a customer sees our ad in paid search and then comes to our site through a different traffic source later on. And really why we look at this is we like to see what kind of impression our paid search is making on customers. To bring this back to the traditional sense, imagine if someone came into your dealership and said, I heard you on the radio. And then they said, but before that, I saw you in the newspaper. We'd know that a combination of newspaper and radio drove that customer. Looking at the view-through conversion will let us know if paid search and online display are working hand in hand to drive customers. The next definition is match type, and it's how a keyword is matched, meaning if we put one keyword in as our target, or a negative, or a phrase, all these different ways we can match keywords. And we'll talk about this a little bit later on, but it's a little bit more advanced, but helps you understand keywords. The quality score, this is very important for us to understand, and we'll spend a whole page or two on it later on. But our ads will receive a quality score from Google, and based on our quality score, that will determine how much we pay per click in addition to our maximum cost per click. There's a search network, which is Google, Yahoo's, or Bing's network of search engines, meaning Google replicates its search process across a number of search engines. And then there's a content network, which if we're publishing online display, we can publish these ads through Google's content network. And these will have, we'll touch on these in a very minor way later on in the presentation because they're kind of unimportant. The first thing we can do with paid search is we can target a very specific geography. What we have here is we have within Google, it shows us a map, and we can draw the area we want our search ads to show in. So for example, with this dealer, who's a dealer in St. Pete, Florida, clearly they don't want their ads showing in Miami, Florida. Customer in Miami, really not their customer, and so they don't want to spend marketing dollars chasing that customer. The first thing we can do with our paid search is define a geographic area. The way this works is it takes the computer's IP address. Every computer on the internet is assigned an IP address. And that IP address, some of the information, tells other people on the internet where it's located. This takes the customer's IP address, finds out where they're located, and then we tell Google only to deliver ads in a very particular area. So this helps us not advertise to people outside the geographic area we're interested in. The next thing we can do is set our budgeting. And this is very important, and probably one of the areas we get the most questions on in regard to paid search. Is the first question is, if my paid search budget isn't enough, will I run out by the 10th of the month? And while we all talk about a monthly paid search budget, the fact of the matter is you cannot even set a monthly paid search budget in Google. The only way it lets you set it, if you look on here, is a daily budget. So if you had a budget of $3,000, our daily budget would be $100 a day. This way it'll ensure that you don't run out of paid search budget 10 days through the month. The second question we get is about, well, if I'm not spending enough money, won't my ad stop showing by noon? And that's not true either. There are two ways to show your ad, the most common of which is called standard. What that'll do is it'll deliver your ad evenly over the course of the day, even if you don't have enough money to be in every search. For example, if you had a keyword that had an estimated daily volume of 100,000 searches, and you only had enough money for 10,000 searches, it would put you in approximately every 10th search. So this standard method here will make sure that you don't run out of money by noontime, and this daily search budget method will make sure that you don't run out of money by the 10th of the month. Now you can override both of these sections, but we don't recommend doing it. But it is important to understand that your budget won't run out before the month's over, and your ads will continue to display over the course of the day. Next, we'll see keywords and bidding. Earlier, we defined keywords. Here's a keyword, no credit auto loan. What this is this is targeting customers who put no credit auto loan into a search box. If you notice, there's no real brackets or quotes around here, and so someone could type, I need a loan with no credit. I need an auto loan with no credit. So this will take these words and mix and match them and find what Google thinks is a relative search. The next you'll see here is a maximum cost per click that we define. And so in this instance, we say we're going to pay $3.85 for this click. Now you'll look over here that what we can do is we can bid this up and bid this down. And this works just like eBay does. If we set a maximum cost per click of $5, it will increase our bid until we're the highest position, until our bid is no longer enough. So if we bid $5 and $3 is enough to attain position 1, we'll be paying $3. Once the position 1 costs $6, our $5 bid will start dropping to second or third position. So by setting this maximum cost per click, we can define how valuable a click from a set of keywords is to us. And this is the way that real search marketers may earn their money, is by finding the keywords that work, upping their bids, finding keywords that don't work and lowering their bids, and making sure that we're really targeting and spending our money on keywords that give us the best total ROI.